The Julian Assange prosecution is very important in this context of an increasingly aggressive Justice Department putting pressure on the ability of reporters to do their jobs. And so the Assange, of course, was indicted for the act of soliciting, asking for, and then publishing classified documents. The documents provided to him in 2010 by Chelsea Manning, midway through the Trump administration. And that case has alarmed press freedom advocates because it could establish a precedent that the journalistic style acts of soliciting and publishing government secrets can be treated as a crime in America. And this does not, you suggested that the Espionage Act, which is the one that makes it an unauthorized publication of or retention of secrets, doesn't apply to journalists. It's actually not clear. It doesn't, there's no special status for journalists per se in American law. So it doesn't really matter whether Julian Assange counts as a journalist or doesn't count as a journalist. Obviously, he's sort of an unusual person. But it's the action. Can this act be treated as a crime? And so on the face of it, the statute that dates back to World War I applies to everybody, which means it applies to journalists too. It's never been used to prosecute a journalist successfully, at least, or even charges all the way, because there's always been this sense that it probably violates the First Amendment, at least as applied to journalists. But that norm of not going there has prevented Justice Departments up until now from testing it. And the Trump Barr Justice Department didn't really care if this would damage press freedoms more broadly, and they decided to go there. And so if he is extradited right now, that's all tied up in court in London, and comes here, and the Garland Justice Department presses forward with the full range of charges that the Trump administration obtained against him, that will be a test case that could establish a precedent that what people like Ellen and I do as well could end up throwing us in jail. And that could obviously have an extraordinary chilling impact on the future of national security investigative journalism. Whether you like Assange or hate him is sort of irrelevant to the point we're discussing here, which is what the Justice Department is willing to do and then what it can do in this space, as in the space of this changing approach to leaks that we've been discussing here just in the 21st century. So I'm glad that the person brought up the Assange case, because I think so far the Biden administration's decision to press forward with it unchanged is very significant for storm clouds down the road in this area.